Texas Prison Story family, salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow. We back here with another one tonight. Figured it was Friday night. We go ahead and tap in with everybody, see what y'all got going on. And I opened up the comments tonight, y'all. So if you see some folks trolling, you already know what's going on, right? We ain't gonna worry about tonight. We might have fun with the trolls, so it is what it is. Shout out to Twisted Black, man. If anybody knows Twisted Black, tell him Tim Snow's trying to get that interview. I don't know how to get in touch with him. Sure would like to talk some Fed talk with old Twisted Black, though. What's up, y'all? Salute. And what's up, y'all? Appreciate everybody tapping in. We're just gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. But y'all coming from everywhere, man. I appreciate it too. Salute. Let me share this thing out on Facebook. Make sure you follow the Texas Prison Stories page on Facebook too, y'all. All right, my bad. I need to get that shared out. Appreciate that, family. West Houston, shout out to the West Side. Richie say his brother's home just did 23 years. That's what's up, man. Welcome home. Shout out to them boys down south of the border. San Antonio, salute, man. Absolutely. Do I still rock with Salsa D? My brother got 2 more years left. He's under parole review right now. Let's hope he makes it. If not, 2026 is the max. Shout out to Waterbury, Connecticut. Thomas Means, what's up, neighbor? Salute, man. So we're live tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I forgot to do Twitch. That was my fault. Romel, salute, family. Dallas, Texas. He say 49 King Bloods. Yeah, so I forgot to do the Twitch tonight, but we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and IG, man. I feel like I would tap in, see what's up. I opened up the comments tonight. Maybe we can get a few of the trolls to come through and do a little bit of entertainment or put on the clown show. Wesley, you say your brother's up for parole this year. Man, hopefully he makes it. How long has he been down? You know, that parole stuff varies so much from region to region, man. Some regions are lenient, some regions are strict. I remember people trying to get to different regions just to make parole back in the day. Like, it really matters. Salute, man. Ooh. Shout out to you, man. Hey, listen, don't wear yourself out too much. Got to get that money, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is. A year and a half. What's he on, a 5-9 egg, or is he on a 3 egg? Because I ain't gonna lie, if he's on that 3 egg, he might end up having to pull that whole thing. Arm Clark, shout out to the Clark. Fort Worth, what's up, Fort Worth? Shout out to Falfurrias, Texas. Hey, that's where my grandma was born and raised, in Falfurrias, South Texas, man. No lie. You know what? I know more stories about Falfurrias, Texas than I do Galveston County. Weslaco, Texas. Shout out to the Valley, man. I get a lot of love out that RGV. You know what? Shout out to all the Vayucos and Farmers and everybody down that way, man. When I was a young kid, I was a young runaway. I don't talk about it a lot, but I left home a couple weeks before I turned 15, and I hooked up with a family that was down in Corpus, and their family was in McAllen and Alamo. So we would go to Alamo constantly. We go to shout out, what's up, neighbor? Salute. We go to Alamo all the time, and we would go down there. And I love South Texas, man. Like, it was a different feeling down there than it was here. It really was. It's a whole different vibe down there. Still dangerous as hell down there, but people were cool. I ain't gonna lie, they always treated me good. My brother been locked up 21 years. Innocent Project picked up his case. He's on Telford. Damn. I hate to hear that, but I tell you what, if the Innocent Project picked up his case, I believe you too, because they're picky. They don't really take cases unless they think you're innocent. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit in the comments. Maybe he'll have some action. McConnell, shout out to the McConnell unit boys. Bunch of gangsters over there. Okay, shout out to you. Say you just did 10 flat, came home in November. I was on Beto holding it down for the red team. So I ain't gonna lie, when I was on Beto myself back in the day, the red team was small. If you want to know the truth, the blue team was big and the red team was small. And I don't know how it was when you left. Did y'all have some numbers over there, or was it still mostly blue? Because I tell you what, that's what it was, a trip. It surprised me. Katy, Texas. What's up, Wayne? Shout out to my brother. Well, that's the best message ever. Look, I don't know if that's a spam bot or if that's genuine, but I appreciate it either way. I'm just here to tell you something very important. I wish you all a beautiful life and hope you're having fun. Remember, double tap the screen. Hey, that's about as real as it gets right there, huh? Right back to you. McConnell, the Texas 7. Yeah, I do believe that is where they came out of Connolly, didn't they? Texas 7, I think, was Connolly unit. You say it was deep, but about even. Yeah, and also too, I guess that depends on what wing you're on too. Scooter, what's up? Scooter, salute. Look, my dad be home in 6 months. He's already had a GIS unit to do drug rehab. That's what's up. That's what's up. And so I think he'll be in a special dorm over there for the people that's in the classes, man. That'll be cool. You know, I don't honestly know much about those type of classes and stuff like that. Break it down said, what do I think about Slim Thug? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I don't know much about Slim Thug. Now, when we used to be young, we'd always be in the same places, same clubs, and same spots as Slim Thug. But I seen Slim Thug say a bunch of controversial stuff online, and people was going in on him left and right and everything else. So one thing about it, right or wrong, I respect his courage to, be somebody major and speak your mind. Because I'm going to be honest with you, everybody's mind is different. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a fan base, sometimes you can upset them and lose them. But Thug, at this point in his career and time in life, I guess has been doing it long enough to where people gonna ride with him no matter what. But I mean, I particularly, ain't paying a lot of attention to him, but I have seen him make some headlines. Look, he says odd things and positive things. So guess what? That comes with what we just been talking about the last few days. Be careful who you follow, right? And be careful who you follow, and time tells all. After you watch a certain person for a certain amount of time, you start getting to know that person a little bit, or at least getting to know how they think, right? Because some people come on, they just put on a persona, they put on an act or whatever. But eventually, if that's what they're doing, that's going to crack. Their real true self will come out. You know what I mean? Similar to like Elon and Trump yesterday. They get mad at each other. It's like a boyfriend and girlfriend breaking up for real. Never been fully convinced that Scott Peterson is guilty. I know someone will come for me in these comments, but hey, that's just how I feel. Ash, why you say that? Maybe they'll come for you in the comments. I doubt it. Y'all better leave my neighbor alone. Remind me the Scott Peterson case. Which one was he? And I'll tell you how I think about it. Because I clearly remember that Scott Peterson name, but I can't think about, excuse me, y'all. I can't think about what he actually did. I want to say killed his wife or something like that. I don't know. I remember for a good while, the number one most wanted person in Texas was that guy in Lamarck. The guy in Lamarck literally hid in his wife's bathroom. He got behind the shower curtain and he killed her when she walked in. And I think he shot her mom or something like that too. Can't remember that guy's name. They had him on an ankle monitor. They let him out They put him on an ankle monitor and he went on the run. Do you remember that? Look at what Scooter said. Those shouldn't speak on what is owed to black Americans facts, and I'm saying that firmly and respectfully, big homie. So I mean, I respect your feelings and I understand, right? And that's what I said. So I don't really know what Slim Thug has spoke on, right? Like pertaining to much of nothing. I remember him saying something about women and them dressing provocatively and then complaining about getting attention or something like that. I remember that. But as far as him speaking on anything like black politics or black related, see, I haven't paid enough attention, or nor do I really have the right to speak on that. You know what I mean? But as I said, as somebody who, I'm not a celebrity whatsoever, right? I'm not a celebrity even close, but I still have to be careful what I say sometimes, all the time, because people hold you accountable for what you say. People hold you accountable for what you do when you're in the public eye, and he has it much worse than I do. You know what I mean? I go places and people always recognize me, but imagine being 6'6" tall and Slim Thug. Or did y'all see that video with Big X the Plug, the rapper from Dallas, the other day? Didn't want to sign that autograph in the casino, and everybody was tripping out on him. Do y'all think? So let me ask y'all in the chat, how do y'all feel about that? If a celebrity, even just a YouTuber, celebrity, rapper, actor, if they're out in public, like just doing some normal everyday stuff, do y'all think that like you're owed a picture? Do you think they should take the picture with you? Do you think they have the right to say no? Like how do y'all feel about that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think certain situations are appropriate, certain some ain't. You know what I mean? Me personally, I'm taking a picture. Like no lie, dog, I'm taking a picture. Kevin Lloyd, I appreciate that. Much love to Georgia. Yeah, me personally, I'm taking a picture, right? I ain't gonna lie, because if somebody is that excited, and I've had people say, "Hey, let's take a picture." And you know what sucks though? When it's happened to me, I've literally been in like work clothes, dirty. I'm wearing my dirty work hat, dirty shirt, hands dirty, because that's when they're seeing me out in public, stopping at the gas station or whatever. And I still take the picture. But you know, hey, if I was maybe at my kid's birthday party or something, and I was the one having to do everything, then I'd probably say not right this moment, or let's make it snappy. That'd be it. You know what I'm saying? I'd say let's make it snappy. Probation's officer perspective. Is that you from Texas City? Did you change your name? So Pete, I think that's what it's about. You know, honest to God, if you come up to me and you're excited about meeting me, I would feel like a buster for dissing you, even if I've never met you, right? I feel like a mark for like telling you get away from me or something like that. Now, if you pull up on me on some bullshit and you're aggressive or something like that, now you get whatever you get. But just Brian, what's up, Brian? I see you over there on Facebook. We're rocking out on YouTube, Facebook, and IG tonight. We're live on all three. Yeah, if you come up on some BS, then you get whatever you deserve. But if you come up on some genuine respect and you're excited to meet me or whatever, I feel obligated to do that. You know what I mean? Even in my dirty old work clothes, I done it 100 times. Now I might ask them though, hey, do me a favor and don't post that, man. I look terrible in this picture. And I have done that before, and they've said no problems. No, I just wanted this for me, and I'm cool with that. If they posted it, I still would be cool with it. All publicity is free, you know, good publicity, I guess. Let me see. Never been locked up, but I've always been a fan of those who have been. My thoughts are I wish employers would give those who have been locked up a chance to work. I think that everyone needs a chance to prove that they can change. Give them a chance to prove themselves. Sorry, I mean, no, that's not off topic. So most people are willing to give them a chance. As an ex-con, so a lot of people that have the problems getting the jobs are the ones that were like burglary of buildings, lots of stealing, thefts, writing hot checks, shit like that. I might not want you working in my office. You were burglary of a building, I might not want you to work in my warehouse, you know, but convicts have to be a little more accepting and take what they can get type shit, right? Because I said this to somebody else when I was on because I was on TikTok live earlier. Make sure you follow me. It's TikTok with the @ Texas Prison Stories on TikTok. But I was on there basically saying the free world is just like prison or anything else, man. You got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. So nobody should actually get out and expect $50 an hour right away. No matter how they feel, no matter how they feel what they deserve, maybe you don't got as much experience as the next guy. And a lot of people that been to prison, some of them don't have any job experience. I didn't get my first real job in life till I was almost 30 years old. And you know how hard that kind of was to explain at that time? Luckily, that's when I first got a CDL and they needed help and they really didn't give a damn. But look, that's another thing too. So in all reality, people can't cover their bodies in tattoos, especially faces and necks and hands and all that, and expect people not to judge them. I don't care how unfair it is. I don't care how discriminative it is or whatever. If you cover your entire body in tattoos, you got to understand as you're doing this, probably not going to look good at future job interviews, future PTA meetings if you're involved with your children, going to church, anything. And I'm going to tell you how inmates even know, but they still do it. Because you'll see guys that are going to court in the county jail that they're sleeved up. Guess what they're doing? They're going to court no matter what the temperature is, wearing thermal underwear, long johns, to cover up all those tattoos because they know it's a bad look. They get them tattoos to promote or to fit in, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of them, but at the same time, they're all, my shirt covers them, right? And I got all mine on the inside. So I was thinking ahead of time. Luckily, my grandma had talked sense into me the first time I ever went down that not to get covered in tattoos, not to do myself like that. Now look at that. Now see, that's what I'm talking about right there, dog. And I'm proud of you. And I remember the situation that you asked about during one of the last videos, and I told you just don't even worry about it. But think about it. You take that job for $13 an hour when you first get out. If you're any type of real man, you know what? $13 an hour feels good when you first get out. $10 an hour feels real good when you get out, because guess what? You was in there working for free. And if you wasn't working, you was sitting around for free. You know what I mean? You might make a couple bucks on a commissary store, selling cigarettes, might buy a couple ID cards and sell them or something like that. But that's prison money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no. Real free world money that you spend on yourself and that you earn, it feels different, man. And you just have to be willing to do like what he said. And like I said, crawl before you walk, accept anything, you know. There's so many people that go to halfway houses. Let me tell you something. I was mad as hell. I was mad as hell when I had to go to that federal halfway house because I had family willing to accept me and willing to let me live there. But part of their rules of leaving the feds is that you go to this halfway house. For me, it was pointless. It was useless. They wanted me to get a job in Houston and start giving them a percentage of my paycheck when I didn't even want to be there. So I bucked the entire system until I started going to welding school. When I got into welding school, and I started taking it a little bit more serious, right? But until that moment, that was a waste of time for me. But I'll tell you who it wasn't a waste of time were the men from Houston, the men that wanted to be in Houston, and the men that were gone so long they didn't have any family left. Nobody was down for them or whatever. Those halfway houses allowed those guys to stay even longer if they needed to until they got on their feet, right? And that's what's humbling yourself. So they would stay in those halfway houses for longer than required just to save money. They wouldn't have the best jobs whatsoever, but they would do what they had to do, and they would come up by themselves. I respect there's a whole bunch of them that I've seen do it, that they walked out of those gates with zero help. They didn't have nothing. When they were going to apply for jobs, they were riding on the little bus cards that the halfway house give them. They don't even really have too many clothes to wear. You know what I'm saying? I seen one guy in the halfway house buy another guy's suit. One guy had a bunch of money in the halfway house. He was from Huntsville. Man, I wish I could remember my boy's name right now. I shout him out. They used to always talk about they was the Gator Gang or Swamp Gang or something like that in Huntsville, Texas. But anyway, dude bought a black guy bought a white dude that we was locked up with named Huff a suit because Huff had an interview at a law office. Huff was like a jailhouse lawyer and a really real paralegal that had just did a bunch of time and took all these courses and everything. And dude literally bought him a suit to go do the job interview in. And when he got the job, I seen him buy him a few more suits. Like, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? But those halfway houses, they're not as bad as they sound when you need it. Thumper, thumper, what's up? Salute. Velocity Gaming. That sounds like a channel. If it is, y'all check it out. What's one of my happiest memories? Like, you mean in prison or one of my happiest memories in life? That's a vast question right there. Thump, thump, what's up? Salute, man. And that's true right there. It's all about selling yourself. Who are you now? It's hard explaining 4-time felon to, yeah, hell yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. And here's the real true facts. Some felonies are unexplainable, right? Like some felonies are unexplainable, and then therefore you might be out of there. And I'm sorry. That's where it comes down to. This is not the life you want. Before you catch that case, while you're still out here in these streets, that's the ones I'm trying to speak to, Brian. That's the ones I try to talk to, the ones that ain't got no prison trips on them yet. Now, I know a lot of convicts love watching this channel. I love interviewing them. We love telling their stories. But in all reality, what we're here for is to keep people from becoming convicts, and so far it's been doing a good job. When am I coming to the RGV? Man, I'd love to. Right now, I'm just doing the father thing with my daughter all summer. Like, I literally took the summer off of work so I could stay home with her. I didn't have no child care for her, and I just definitely wasn't feeling the daycare deal. So I stayed home, and I'm having fun. If you want to know the truth, like this father shit is not that bad, y'all. It really is. Toxic Diamond Media. Salute. Much love, man. Was that you, though, that kept using that ugly-ass picture of me on the thumbnail? Boy, you did me wrong, though. I forgot about that. But it's all love, though. I think that was you that kept doing that. Talk about booty bandits, please, sir. Not be the last thing in life I want to talk about. And let me tell you something. The channels that have endless booty bandit stories, always beware of that shit. If somebody has 100,000 booty bandit stories, something ain't right. The ones, because the ones I've seen, man, I don't even want to talk about them for what? We did a video on it the other day, though, talking about people sitting on folks' laps and shit like that. Because in reality, it's 2025, and people are just openly homosexual these days. They don't even really have to. They don't even really have to take anything no more. Mr. Kenny said, talk about what made you a big platform. So you think I am a big platform right now? I don't think so yet. I'm trying, but I don't know. So honest to God, I don't know. Like what I'm at, almost 87,000 subscribers, 88, something like that, I think. But so just keeping it real, people supporting, showing love, sharing videos, hitting the algorithm. I did a video earlier about a rapper that just got 6 years that the views are doing terrible on. Y'all make sure y'all go check it out, show some love, hit the thumbs up, because it's a crazy story on why he's doing them 6 years in the feds. It really is. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess just being myself, so I'm one of the few people that you see come on the internet that just don't put on no front. I just really, this is so easy when you just be yourself. Does that make any sense? Like when you come on and it's an act and you got to portray a certain way and keep a certain image and all that shit, that would be way too much work for me. That would just be unrealistic. And actually right now, so I've been getting better views sometimes on Facebook and TikTok than I do YouTube. And I've been doing YouTube longer. I enjoy YouTube better because it gives me the live feedback coming. So when I'm streaming right now, I can't see the comments on Instagram, but I can see the Facebook and YouTube comments at the same time. So I enjoy being able to watch both of them and answer back to both places, that. And I seen that Brian Collier is retiring at the end of August, so everybody's in an uproar and wanting them to hire somebody from the outside and not promote somebody from the inside. But I don't think that's going to happen. You gotta to get promotions in TDCJ, you gotta tote the line. Period. If the line changes or not, I don't know. But do you better tote that thing? Yes. Think about it. You better tote that line. So they're not going to bring in anybody who's going to try to make any waves or request any increased budget, anything. It's going to be one of the wardens, probably. I would say some warden. Do I watch any YouTubers like Chad Marks and Jay Williams? Yeah, shout out to both of them. Yeah, when Chad first started, I was the one sharing his videos out, helping him get started. And I talked to Jay Williams on the phone probably about 2 weeks ago, and Jay shared out one of my videos for me. So that was real. Shout out to both them dudes. David Kendall, what's up? So the people that are new to prison, the families, I would say, right? The prison families and the advocates, they hate Brian Collier. But I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Brian Collier, there's been a lot of advances during his terms that they're not giving him credit for, from these incentive dorms where they now got beanbag chairs and stuff. They got big screen TVs and DVDs, to the tablets, to a lot of stuff, right? What they're gonna have to figure out for them is a way to get more employees. Literally, you're gonna have to pay somebody about $40 an hour to work in a hot building like that around dangerous inmates. If they start paying $120,000 a year or something like that, like they make out there in California, they'll start being fully staffed. Right now, these guys making $40,000, shit like that. Oh, what do I think about Wes Watson? He's done. Yeah, I think Wes Watson is a cook goose, man, and he's done it to himself. Like, let me tell you something. That alpha male bullshit that Wes Watson puts on, that, man, that's so easy to tell that that's fake. Let me tell you something. So here's something I can tell you. I didn't meet the first killers of my life in prison, right? I didn't meet the first people that took lives and stabbed people and broke motherfuckers' necks and shit in prison. I met them in the real life. You know what I'm saying? So when I got to prison, I met more of them. But I'm gonna be honest with you, none of them ever acted like no Wes Watson. Not free, not anywhere. Yeah, I got an interview on here with Corrections Mama. We got one on this channel actually. I helped her get her shit going. I haven't heard nothing from her in a while, but if you drop her a comment, tell her I said hi. But let's see. Yeah. So Brian Wood said the prison advocates that we have right now, they played nothing but the victim role. I can name so many names, but I won't. So indeed, yes indeed. So I've told them that, bro, I think you told me you was on Gib Lewis back in the day, right? I think you said high security side. Like I know, dog. There's people that just deserve to be in prison, right? There's some scummy ass, dirt ball, slimy ass people in this world that just deserve to be in prison, man. There's people that killed people's grandmas, killed babies. There's people that multiple child molesters, violent rapists. Man, there's people that deserve to be in there. You know what I'm saying? They're like, but then there's also a lot of good people in there that are over sentenced. The war on drugs itself has literally killed America. The war on drugs has 150,000 people locked up in Texas, probably 100,000 of them there for drug offenses that they would be free in other states right now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of bullshit that goes on, but the advocates themselves act like nobody belongs in prison. Like prison is not fair and it shouldn't be there and all this other shit, or everybody should have it good. I'm sorry, dog. I do believe the baby rapers and the people that beat grandma in the head with a monkey wrench and probably somebody that burned their kid in a trash can, I kind of want them to suffer a little bit. I know that don't sound right as an ex-con, right? I think Texas needs to do a little bit better with their classification system is what it is. Like everybody that's on them ID units probably don't need to be there. Some of them need to be in some little medium security, low security type prisons or whatever. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It all comes back to what we say, bro. This is not the life you want. All right. You might be on a 3-year sentence, dog, and end up guess what? You're on a 3-year sentence. You go to Holiday or somewhere and get into a fight. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna G4 your ass and send you somewhere serious on a 3-year sentence. Like nothing is guaranteed here, all right? You can find yourself after that fighting in medium custody. Now you're in closed custody somewhere on Telford, somewhere on Ferguson, somewhere on Bill Clemens, Beto, somewhere where you're fighting for your life now. You got cellmates that might be trying to kill you and sexually assault you, and what you gonna do about it? You know, Pino, what's up, my brother? Salute, man. I appreciate that share the other day. That meant a lot to me, bro. It really did, for sure. Boy, I just did 3 and went to 3 different bad units. See what I'm saying? Yeah, look, on a three piece, your ass might end up on Ferguson, Gibb Lewis, Beto, someplace like that, Clemens. It don't, it just don't, nothing is guaranteed, right? Or on a 3-piece, you might make parole in a year. Come home and never see nothing tough. So that's really one of the first videos. I think the first video I ever did about going to Beto was explaining that everybody that goes to prison in Texas don't go to the same type of prisons, right? Because they're different. Some people going to the transfer units, coming home and acting real hard. Sometimes the medium custody units like Roach Unit and Torres and them, they go off the chain, right? They have riots, they stay squabbling. You might get to a max unit where them boys running steel up in you trying to kill your ass. You just never know. And if your buddy went to 3 bad units in 3 years, he was probably in there acting a fool, if you want to know the truth. Somebody said, I've never been locked up. You know what? I wish you were right, my man. I really wish you were right. I'm not proud of this shit. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's facts too. So that's what I said too, my bro. I worked hard to get to prison. My brother worked hard to get to prison. My little brother's in there right now, South City. We didn't just go out one time and accidentally do a crime and get caught. That's not how it worked, right? We literally, we were doing multiple felonies a day. You know what I'm saying? The Bill Clemens unit is where my brother passed away. So when my brother had that heart attack on the cell floor, every man on the wing was yelling man down and asking for medical and needing help. And the guards was probably asleep somewhere, just didn't care. So now Bill Clemens ain't nothing nice. And Bill Clemens is also, if you want to know the truth, I believe still the top unit in Texas where they report sexual assaults constantly. Excuse me one second, y'all. I got this cat crawling around. Yeah, Bill Clemens is was at one time the number one prison where sexual assaults were happening. And you know what's even crazier? Bill Clemens was ranked as the number 1 prison where inmates were sexually assaulted by the guards. And it's a men's prison. Can you imagine being in a man's prison and a man guard sexually assaulting you? Like, good Lord, man. Especially if you're back there in SIG where you got to cuff up before you even come out. Imagine this dude telling you to cuff up and pushing you back in your cell. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. But no, that's a real thing. You can Google the sexual assault by the guards. So that's why things like body cameras and stuff like that are being instituted now. And I still haven't seen any results in any positive type of way. Let's put it like that for any body cam footage. Like I haven't seen anybody beat a case that says the body cam helped me save it, or help me beat it, or my loved one was assaulted and here's the body camera footage, or all that type stuff. So I don't know. You said do I know Tim? What do you mean? I am Tim. Kyle Free says, when my brother in ECB 12 medium custody. So he was GP, and at the time my brother was the SSI and SEG. I do know that. So was he? I don't know, honestly. Like, I barely even got to talk to him. So for a lot of my brother's bid, and right up until he died, I was in the feds. I was out running the streets and doing doing no good, not really talking to him very often. And then got a letter from him, and then he passed away like a few days later. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's just green screen. Oh, I seen that. I'm sorry, I meant to answer that. Jim Bobby Boy. No, sir. You know what? In Texas, I've never uh seen anybody in jail from Canada, if you want to know the truth. I've seen some tourists here. Like, some tourists rode their bikes down from Quebec that spoke French, but not very many Canadians are here. So the worst county jail or prison, you know what? So more people die in Harris County Jail than anything. The prison gang violence and activity and all that is probably the worst in Bexar County Jail. And you're probably most likely to get your ass beat and lose there at jail in Dallas. So they're all a little bit of difference. You know what I'm saying? Why am I drinking out that red cup? Man, I'm drinking tap water, so I started drinking tap water. I'm not working right now. I'm just saving money. Actually, don't even taste too bad. I'm trying to get one thing, my daughter's bougie. She seen me pour this shit out the tap. She said, Daddy, I ain't drinking that. I'm thinking, damn, whatever. And I'm a single father, and I don't like to wash dishes. Anything else you need to know? Want to see my plastic? Hold on. Want to see my plastic spoons too? Cause I don't like to wash dishes. Look, pull out the plastic forks. Dang. Jason, I appreciate that. Thank you. Tommy Thunder. What's up, Tommy Thunder? So I seen you on my Facebook page. I appreciate you following the Texas Prison Stories Facebook page too, my brother. That's what's up. Always showing much love, man. You say your brother's looking at 20. I hate to hear that. But so that means usually 2 to 20, right? And that don't mean you getting a 20. It could be the 2 also. So don't just hold your head thinking he's immediately getting that. Jason, I appreciate that. So a lot of these channels do, man, and it's not my place to call them out on it or say their names or whatever, because a lot of these men are feeding their families. So the men 50, it's 80-20 on YouTube with the prison genre. About 80% of them feeding habits. The other 20 have families to feed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't always know which one is which. So that's why you see I don't really make no habit of attacking people or going after folks or nothing like that, unless they do something to me. If you mess over me, shit, I'm liable to come for that neck, and I'm gonna try to say some shit where you can't even respond back. But I've been like that. I've always been self-defense type person. Is there still serial killers in Ramsey unit? I heard there used to be. I'm probably. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Serial killers. So it depends also what you call a serial killer. Irony, what's up, Irony? Dusty say his uncle did 36 years. Y'all make sure y'all, so if y'all watching live on YouTube, double tap the screen for me, y'all. Let's get these likes up. Somebody tell me what the likes are at. And if you're watching on Facebook, hit that thumbs up for me. Share the video out. I appreciate it. Look, Break It Dawn saying, unless they don't blink. Now, we got YouTubers on here that don't blink. Now, that's the crazy part. You tell me what's going on. When a man do a 10-minute video and he doesn't even blink. You know what I mean? So, but we're going to leave that alone too, right? So I even took down some of those videos I did recently about the guy that don't blink. Because you know what? It wasn't that I was wrong about anything I said. And it wasn't that I didn't mean anything that I said. Because I did mean it. And I was right about it. But you know why I took it down? Because when people find my channel, and every day new people find Texas Prison Stories, I didn't want one of those videos to be what they see, right? I didn't want them to see me humiliating some man by telling the truth. I didn't want somebody new seeing me cut somebody down thinking that's what I do, right? Even though that is what I did, and I felt it was appropriate at the time, I didn't want that to be a permanent look, right? That's why I stay mostly on topic on this channel and try not to do that, because I don't want to be known as one of those guys. I really don't. And you know, I can do 1 or 2 videos like that, and the weight of the whole genre comes down on me. All of a sudden, I start getting blamed for everything everybody else does. I've always wondered, is it wise to be a pen pal with a prisoner, or are most trying to manipulate innocent people? So have you ever watched that show, Love After Lockup? Love After Lockup will answer that question for you. I ain't gonna lie. So that's a hard question to answer, Mr. Ted Graham, because there are some genuine people in prison that are just lonely, that nobody cares about. They don't have no family, no friends, that they need something, you know. But do I think it's wise to like start a relationship with an inmate other than being a pen pal? Absolutely not. No, I don't, because that's something that's horrible. Being a prison wife or prison husband, I mean, come on, man. Think about having somebody that you want 24/7, more and more and more, and can't have. My uncle was thrown off the top tier by guards back in the 90s, and the CO was acquitted on all charges. TDC is corrupt. Now, I can believe that. So in the 90s, there was no cameras for sure. Let me close these blinds, y'all. It's starting to get dark. Excuse me. So in the 90s, all up until shit, man. I think they started installing cameras about 10 years ago. So people was getting pushed down the stairs. Instead of just getting thrown off the tier, that's kind of drastic a lot of times, but I believe you. But a lot of times they'll push you down the stairs. That's their thing. Oh, he fell down the stairs. You know. Ah, look at that. Brian say one of his best friends is on Love After Lockup right now. She is a weirdo. So one of my homeboys was on 60 Days In last season. And shout out to Dirty Weather 916. Dirty Weather set the world record for tapping out the fastest on 60 Days In. He said, fuck that shit. He did like 19 years. He said when they closed that door behind him, everything came back and he didn't even want to be there no more. On a scale from 1 to 10, what's my favorite color of the alphabet? I would say I'd have to get at a -2. So Love After Lockup is hilarious though. I catch it every now and then. I'm not like a everyday fan of Love After Lockup, but the ones I see, shit, man, them people are pathetic. Like the inmates themselves, so I think it's got to be fake. It's got to be staged, because why would they show themselves cheating on these women or these men cheat? You know, like everybody comes out being dirty. You know, they come out doing weird shit. And the sad part about the Love After Lockup is the people have so much expectations, I guess. They put so many expectations on this prisoner that's just coming home that it's overwhelming. But at the same time, okay, we got the weirdos coming in the chat now. I was wondering how long it was going to take y'all strange 3-eyed, one-legged, no arm, no brain having weird ass people up in the chat. Y'all typing with y'all's nose. Peter Pan. What kind of, that sounds like a child molester name. Weirdo. Kevin Gardner. You're a weirdo. But anyway, what was I even saying? I've been sitting here talking for all this time waiting on y'all weirdos to get in here and start trolling. Crank it up, man. This shit getting boring. Can I get some more weirdo comments? Thank you, Kevin. Ted Graham said, talk about prison food, please. So to me, one of the, John, what's up? Salute, man. One of the worst parts about prison, dog, is the food. No lie. And I appreciate that. One of the problems to me was the food. If you want to know the truth, was I PC'd up? No, hell no, I wasn't PC'd up. Were you? What kind of stupid ass question is that? Yeah, the prison food, let me tell you something. The menu that you eat extremely repetitive, right? Like they're not whipping up new dishes on you. So you're gonna eat the same bullshit over and over and over and over again, right? I mean, over and over and over. Yeah, look, beans that they don't wash. Your beans still have dirt in them. The greens still have dirt in them. Your oatmeal and your grits have weevils in them. What else, Brian? Help me remember. Like everything is damn near pork. If you get any type of beef, it's extremely rare. If you get a hamburger, that's probably a soy patty. Even though they raise a million head of cattle, you don't eat none of it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Now you didn't ask, was he home? You said he was home. You need to learn how to use a question mark then, buddy. That's what they're for. Someone said I got out because I was an informant. Who was that? That's weird. Sure would like to talk to them. Pork link patty, pork noodle casserole, pork sausage. Remember what they called them pork sausage? Shawn Michaels for some reason. I never understood why they called them that. Uh, Pork noodle casserole, pork spaghetti, pork everything. Man, I can't even go on right now. Yeah, dry ass pancakes every morning. Might get you some eggs that are green. Egg day, I'm probably gonna go down there, even though they're green. And so the green bologna, that was that was Harris County Jail. Harris County Jail actually had some greenish gray bologna every single meal. And I didn't know if they is there some type of bologna that's naturally green and gray? Was this old? What was going on? Because in all reality, I was still eating it, right? I'm like, I'm not fixing to go upstairs in this housing area, malnutrition, with no food in me or anything like that. So I would still eat it. But I don't know why it looked like that. It was disgusting. Appreciate it. Everybody keeps liking the hat. I appreciate it. I've been wearing my New York hats. I got Texas hats, New York hats, Los Angeles hats. I got all kind of hats. Shit, fried chicken, man. We used to get the baked chicken. We get the baked chicken, and that would be like half raw. I would usually almost always sell that. You know what I'm saying? Like that baked chicken for me, that's gonna sell at all times. I didn't really like it. So so the second part of that is commissary, right? The commissary is what you do when you got money. You don't want to go to the chow hall. You spread or whatever. It's literally the same shit every time too. You ain't going, Sean. What's up, Sean? Salute. Yeah, you ain't going to buy nothing new. If a new item hits on the commissary menu, it's like a holiday in this motherfucker. I don't care if it could be a new mint stick or something, right? That ain't been on there. But you're eating the same shit over and over and over again. Do you know how bad I got tired of commissary? Come on, y'all. I got sick of eating the commissary. How many times do I want to eat chili with beans or chili with no beans or tuna or mackerel or whatever? It's 10 times better in the chow hall, but it's still repetitive. It's still the same old sodium laced bullshit constantly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even when you're doing good, you're prison rich, you're balling, right? Still sucks. Still sucks. Hey, Ted Graham. So that's one thing I talked about on one of my very first ever prison stories. Is that when I walked into Beat 01, when I walked into K Wing on Beat 01, I expected it to look like Lockup Raw or something, right? I expected everybody to be jacked, everybody to look like Hercules and He-Man and all this shit. Nah, what they looked like was malnutritioned. Everybody was pale, even the black people, because they never got to go outside. And it was horrible looking. It looked like a bunch of walking dead. Were there people that had muscles because they naturally have good genetics, so they eat a lot? They got the most commissary? Yes. For the most part, the average person looked malnutritioned and undervitamined. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So do we ever make burritos in a chip bag using hot water? So that was a county jail thing. We would do that. We would do that in the county. We would throw a little spoonful of peanut butter in there. We would maybe put some peppers in there with it, whatever. Squish it all up and then let it lock up under the bed and eat it dry. That was disgusting. Maybe put a little bit of squeezed cheese on it or something. That shit is nasty. Yeah, I don't like none of that shit. And I never came home and made spreads or did on all that. You said your ex put on weight in jail from all that cheap processed food. So let me ask you this. Was he underweight when he went? Or did he just normal and get really big? Because there's a lot of guys that come into prison, especially county jails, that are out here living rough. They're doing drugs. They're running the streets, and you start seeing them gain weight, start getting muscle compared to how they look. So like a lot of men, unfortunately, the best version you'll ever see of them is in prison. As soon as they get back out to the free world, guess what? Right back on drugs, right back losing weight, right back doing all that crazy stuff. Hey Brian, so let me ask you something. Let me ask you, do you remember this? How many people that are in the chat right now been to TDC? How many of y'all remember taking your peanut butter jar and spinning it on the floor? The other day, I got it right here. It's peanut butter. Can't hardly see it because of green screen. Look. Tell me why, for some weird ass reason, the other day, I just grabbed that peanut butter and just spun it on the floor. And I was like, why am I doing this? I don't even know why I was doing it. And then all of a sudden, when I opened it up, I said, damn, my half a jar is back full again. Then I remember what it was. Yeah, that shit. That shit. So one thing I'll never miss, dog, is hearing them soups smash on the ground, people popping them soups and spinning the peanut butter and all that old crazy shit. Oh, hell, man. Having to wrap your soda up in a paper towel that's soaking wet, hang it up, keep wetting the paper towel over and over again so your soda is evaporating. Fred, what's up, Fred? Salute. Sandra said everybody knows those Johnnies with the clump of peanut butter were the best. Let me tell you something about them Johnnies. Them Johnnies, so they take the peanut butter and the jelly and they stir it up together, and then they put it on a sandwich. And boy, I swear that thing be like this much. I don't know what I don't know what size they get. Dusty say, have I been in any fights? Yeah, I got a bunch of stories on here about that. You can go back on some of the other videos. Life of a felon. Salute my brother Corpus Christi. Stand up. Fred, U.S. Marine. Salute. Man, I don't even think it's one scoop. That's what I'm saying. So it's one spoonful, and I'm talking about like tablespoon, not a big teaspoon, right? Teaspoon is the big one, I think. Tablespoon is a small one that you would normally eat. They literally give you about 1 tablespoon mixed with peanut butter and jelly, and then that bread is so stale. Good Lord. I seen a picture of my own cousin. My own cousin just came off about a 90-day lockdown eating them Johnny Sacks. And damn, man, he took a picture in visitation and he was down about 20 pounds, 25 pounds. It was crazy. You say you bought them all with bologna sandwiches? So them was probably my favorite ones. Do you remember every now and then, now we would get a Johnny Sack that would have a chicken patty in it. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a win, right? Get every now and then you'd get that, but I don't know. Hell yeah, you get pancakes. You might get eggs one day out the week. And then it's them instant eggs, I believe. I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a big giant bag that they just drop in the water and then they boil the whole bag and dump it out or something like that. I can't. They're not very good. They're rubbery. And for real, the eggs turn green and gray. You say that cold vent. Where you was at with the cold vent? You must have been in Seg back there because, man, ours didn't blow shit but hot air. Say you feel old remembering paper commissary orders. Shit, that's what we used to have to do. We would have to do the Scantron. Remember with the little number 2 pencil and fill out the commissary thing and stuff. That's what it was back in the day. For facts. How do they order commissary now? Do they do commissary on their tablets, or do they have a still fill out a form that they do? You know what? That's what I don't remember. Yeah, the bubble sheet. Exactly. Like you were taking a test. Oh, you saying wintertime. Yeah, hell yeah, it gets cold. So that, oh, they do it at, I know in the county jail they do it at a kiosk. I didn't think in TDCJ they did, but I guess they do. Oh, one thing that my brother hated, my brother ended up having to go to Bill Clemens prison up there in Amarillo. And when my brother was in Bill Clemens, instead of field squad, they put my brother on snow squad when he first got there. Like they had this boy from the Gulf Coast, never seen snow in his whole damn life. So now they got him on snow squad. You know how hard that was for my brother? That was literally like a mental blow. Because if you've ever been in prison, you already know it don't matter even if you work outside or night. All you get is a green windbreaker. You can buy you some long john underwear with the little orange sleeve stripe things and the orange neck. Wear you a t-shirt or two and you got a windbreaker. And they'll have you out there in freezing temperatures shoveling snow. Sorry to say, might get a chicken patty once a week. If you're lucky. If you're lucky once a week, yeah. Might get a hamburger patty in that thing or something. But in all reality, you already know most Johnny Sacks that I remember were peanut butter sandwich, one boiled egg, and some cauliflower. I don't know if that was a Beto thing or what, but we would get a lot of cauliflower. Not a lot, but we get it every day. Cauliflower, that peanut butter sandwich, and one boiled egg. And you know, I would always have trouble deciding, do I want to eat the cauliflower and the boiled egg right now and save the sandwich? Or do I want to eat the sandwich and save the cauliflower and the egg? But I always knew I wasn't going to eat it at the same time. That's for damn sure. So normally I would eat the cauliflower and the egg first, kind of just like ease my stomach a little bit. And I always save at least one sandwich right before I go to sleep. So, I mean, you know, yeah, prunes too. So that was the other thing. We didn't get a whole lot of raisins. That was it. So if you wasn't going to get the cauliflower and you start staying on lockdown for too long, they understand that PB&J and J and that bread is locking everybody up. So guess what? They start feeding you a bunch of prunes. So now here's the problem. You're already on a low calorie diet, dog. You're on about an 800 maximum 800 calorie diet a day, which ain't even legal. And then they're feeding you something like prunes that make you go to the restroom too much. It's almost like a laxative. So your body is really not even having time to process the nutrients and everything else. You know, I'll tell you what, listen to this. People talk about the feds and think how good the feds are. When I was in Beaumont, the chow hall and kitchen was so disgusting. There was black mold everywhere. And they had that prison was so racially divided. They had two serving lines, right? One side was for the whites and Hispanics, and the other side of the serving line was just for the blacks only. And you know, of course, I would go through with the blacks only and all that on the gang type activity back then. But our side had black mold that dripped water into the food trays. So whatever food you was eating that day, water dripping through black mold like roof tiles will be dripping down in the pans and the food. And people started filing grievances and complaining on it and everything. And all they would do was come paint it. Like they repainted, but never fix wherever the water leak was coming from. Obviously, one of them pipes had a small leak up there or something like that, right? So what ended up fixing it was officer himself played sick and said that black mold was getting them. But do you know when they closed our chow hall, it took about 9 months for them to get that thing fixed, redone, reopened, and we ate Cheerios every day for 9 months. Kevin Gardner, that's a weird question. You tell me, what do you think? What do you think? Are you new to the channel? So I got the chat open. Everybody don't even have to be a subscriber. So I think some of these people asking questions like that aren't subscribers. Maybe I should change it to where you have to subscribe today, huh? Probably what I should have done. So I like opening up the chat too, so new people can come in, and trolls can be weird. Sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it gets on the normal viewers' nerves and stuff like that. But so I talk on prison. Of course, I talk on prison to keep people out. You'll never hear me talk about prison in a good light. You'll never uh you'll never hear me give anything positive about prison. And Mr. Kennedy says, I want to hear about SPM. I mean, I don't know what you want to hear about him. Like, I mean, what about him? He likes little kids, and he's got millions of fans that probably like little kids too. I don't know what else to say. Embarrassment to the state of Texas. That's how I feel about him. But I got a whole bunch of videos. I got an entire playlist you can watch about him, where I break down everything. The only thing I regret about the SPM I've done is on my very first video. My very first video, I still thought that 13-year-old girl was a stripper. I actually got a phone call about it, right? And they said, no, man, you're wrong. You need to fix that. So that's when I came through in part 2. Definitely don't want to go through withdrawals when you're in prison. So that's what's going on with that K2 activity right now. Everybody is going through withdrawals. They're either high flip-flopping on the ground, or they're going through withdrawals. You know, it's crazy. I don't think he's in denial or mentally ill. I think he knows he has millions of dollars at stake, right? They posted something on their page the other day about him still being one of the top streaming Hispanic artists in the world. He still has 1.3 monthly listeners just on Spotify alone. That don't count YouTube Music or any of that other stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's embarrassing. It's sick. You know, the other day I was riding in the radio. I was riding in the car, and a damn R. Kelly song started playing on the radio. I'm like, why in the hell would they still be playing R. Kelly's music on the radio? Makes no sense. Rudy, you there right now? Salute. Tom O said, I never did a day in my life. I wish you were true. I wish you were right. I think I'd be a lot further in life and a lot further ahead if I never did a day in my life. I sure would be happy. I'd be much prouder of that than I am of going to state jail, TDC, and the feds. I've been to all 3 systems, dummy. P. Diddy too. So let me tell you something. P. Diddy, man, god damn, P. Diddy is out of there, man. Once I seen they said somebody held a lady over the balcony by her feet and all that other stuff, and the way they're portraying him, yeah, P. Diddy is gone. For sure. SPM put Mexicans on the map from Texas. No, he didn't. That's a goddamn lie. You never heard of nobody named Selena? There was a beautiful lady named Selena that was about 1,000 million times more popular than SPM from Corpus. Actually, I think she was from Victoria, wasn't she? Lake Jackson, something like that. Selena put Texas on the map. Straight like that. And, you know, Selena didn't even speak Spanish either. Glad they got tablets these days. I talk to my son damn near daily. Every conversation ends. Stay away from that K2. Read the books, hit the workout, watch the crash dummies. Yeah, so you know what though? Let me tell you something. Part of doing time and part of getting in penitentiary mode is almost forgetting the free world. I can't even imagine right now being able to talk to my mom or dad 5 times a day or this and that and that. Didn't have to go down into the day room and squabble and deal with prison politics and all this other shit. Like, that's why I said when I first started this channel, even doing this channel is hard because I got to go from dad mode to prison mode. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what's up with Tory Lanez. I seen you say it. I really don't know. I have no idea. I guarantee he's probably going to end up in the sensitive needs yard. So they said 85% of California at this time is in protective custody. I'm sure he's about to be one of the 85. But they also said in their SNY yards that they're more dangerous than the main line because they don't have to follow any rules and they can do whatever they want over there. You know what I mean? So hopefully he's okay. I wish I had an answer for you, but I really don't. I'm not sure if you want to know. That boy said SPM wanted to be the next Selena. Yeah, he wishes he was on her level. I ain't gonna lie. Even Selena's brother went on with, to be extremely famous. He went in at 16, got 25 years. Man, that's rough, man. That's real rough right there. I ain't gonna lie. So if you got 25 years at 16, you probably took somebody's life or you did something extremely violent. You know, so it's something not only do you got to live with that time, you got to live with what you did. That's also a heavy weight on a lot of people's shoulders. People that take lives and shit like that, they act like it don't bother them. But in all reality, at night, it bothers them because that's the reason they're in there. And that's the reason why they might have to stay in there 25, 35 years. Most people that pull them triggers are in people's lives, bad regret it later. And it might not even come from a spiritual sense or a sense of feeling guilty or anything else. It just comes from a, damn, I got caught. Now I'm stuck in here for the rest of my life type shit. Be like Mr. Larry. Mr. Larry did 42 years. Mr. Larry killed a man in 1975 and did not get out for 42 years after that. Think about it. And playing with Texas, you never know what's going to happen to you too. Excuse me, y'all. And I appreciate that, Ted. Thank you. So when I started this channel, I started it because my big brother had just died. When I came home from the feds, I got jumped by 4 dudes in the feds. They broke my arm. They broke some ribs. They hurt me pretty good, right? Hurt my pride, my ego, everything. I come home and then something like my first week home, my brother dies on the cell floor in Bill Clemens. And I started watching it defeat my mama. I started watching it, kill his kids, family, everything. And he was the one that told me prison was no big deal. But when we were young, all he ever did was small little bids. Then when they gave him that 50 years, it turned into a big deal. My brother got 50 years for approximately $75 to $100 worth of cocaine. If you want to know the honest to God truth, for about $100 of cocaine, they gave him 50 years because he took it to trial. And when you take things to trial in Texas, that's when you get railroaded the hardest, right? You're always going to be in trouble if you go to trial. You say you have a theory on how much time is almost always enough. So I'm going to be honest with you. If a man can't change in 20 years, because you're going to go through an evolution of manhood, period, right? From a teen to your 20s, to your 30s, to your 40s, whether you're locked up or free, right? You're going to mature as a man, 20s, 30s, 40s, even to your 50s. The same inmates that you've seen wilding out in their 20s, you catch them later in their 40s, and they're now kicked back, relaxed, looking at the young dummies that they used to be. So if you say 12 might get you right, 12 might not get you right. I don't know. It's a lot of time. 10 years is a lot of time, But what I'm saying to that is, if you give a man 12 years when he's 18 and he does 12 flat, he comes out 30. He might not be mentally mature yet. You know what I'm saying? Are Norteños a factor in Texas streets or prisons? No, they're not. So I heard a couple YouTubers say that there was some Norteños somewhere in Texas or something like that, and I'm sure there are. But as far as I know, they're not a factor at all. Neither are Sudanos. I think they have some of those in El Paso or whatever. But as far as on the inside, no, you can't rip that inside of a Texas prison. If you're a Norteño, Sudano, whatever, you're just we would call you a neutron, a civilian. You would just be a solo type of dude, non-active, yeah, just sitting still. Scott Barnett says, taking life, spend your life. Hey, this is Texas. Taking life, they might end your life. You know what I mean? Death row is real. See, a lot of states don't have death row. So I uploaded a video the other day on Facebook of these two guys fighting. And one of my oldest followers, somebody that always comments, always show love, and always support, he said, look at them. They're peep with the P word because they're just squabbling and they don't got the knives out. And I'm thinking, man, that's the most backwards logic I've ever thought or ever seen. Like, since when are men weak because they choose not to use a weapon and rather throw them hands? To me, that's the man. If you got to go grab the knife, one of y'all was scared. So, like, that's some real shit right there. Are Texas prison rape factories or is it other southern prisons? So we just talked about that. Nowadays, it's 2025, man. These people out there, there's open homosexuality in the free world is open. There's enough of them in prison that are giving it up. And you got to take it too much no more. Does it still happen? Absolutely. And it happens a lot. We were talking about in medium custody, closed custody, where sometimes you spend 24 hours a day locked in a cell with a cellmate. They didn't. No name. Did he take down that video? Probably because I did the reaction to it and explained how ridiculous that video was. I didn't know he took it down. So if he took it down, that's funny. Because their whole theory on that was that the Houston Police Department got a 14-year-old girl to set him up to get her stripper homegirl out of trouble. But their story was that the 14-year-old girl was allowed to go with her friend, get picked up by SPM's friends, go to the hotel with no backup, spend an entire night there, and then come home and tell about it. If you got any common sense in the world, you know no police department is going to allow the 14-year-old girl to go have intercourse and then come back and talk about it and prosecute them. Hell no. They would have had a mic wired to that woman. There would have been some kind of code word as soon as he gets naked. Say red or some shit, cough in the mic. And they would have kicked open the door and arrested him right then. That's why none of that shit made no sense. Right? Of course they all knew what he was doing because he didn't hide it. That man didn't hide it, not even slightly. But you feel what I'm saying? Yeah, no, they don't use 14-year-old girls as undercover sex objects for fat, nasty, drug-addicted rappers that are already out on bond for molesting a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old girl. So the whole entire response that they did made no sense. So if he took it down, that's why he took it down. Because I broke it down and showed how it made no sense. But at the same time, his fans didn't care and they thought I wasn't making no sense. They thought it was perfectly rational that a 14-year-old girl is allowed by HPD to go in there. Like, come on, man. It's crazy. So I don't think I ever talked about my first day out. If you want to know the truth, my first day out of the feds, I was in a halfway house. It sucked. It was no fun. First day out in the state, the only thing I wanted to do back then was go to Whataburger. Honestly, Cisco, what's up, Cisco? Some of the most. So I ain't never seen that. I ain't gonna lie. Some of the most notorious killers and gangs that were punks in TDC. No, sir, I didn't ever actually see that myself. So that's the silliness about prison, though. And here goes the double standard. Only one of them in the relationship is considered the punk. Think about that, right? And no, I have never met Lil Bing in TDC, but I do know somebody that was on All Red with Bing for a long time. People don't understand that Bing left the prison gang life. Bing is no longer U-Stone, Tongo Blast, any of that. Little Bing is a Christian now. Like, Bing literally got baptized. He's one of those guys that are like trying to speak to the younger people because Bing has life without parole and he's got a strong, heavy reputation. But I think what the story I heard was he just got tired of seeing people that he knew his whole life, black folks and other people, and not being able to eat with them, not being able to hang out with them and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he dropped it. I don't know. No, Cisco, I'm not tapping in with nobody that's Dope House Records related, my brother. Not at all. That wouldn't even make no sense. So that's one thing about it. I'm not trying to be rude, right? But when I started my channel, didn't nobody want to tap in with me. Nobody wanted to tap in with Snow because they didn't have no confidence that this was gonna work. All this, I now see people from other places using my fucking channel name and their video titles and shit like that. You know what I mean? Shut them down. Records was cool. That was Bean. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Sin. Sin was my boy, man. Me and Sin had fell out right before he passed away, but it was over something really small, and I regretted not making that right with Sin. If you want to know the truth, you know what I mean. Rest in peace, Sin. Be the Benavidez, the damn Sin, for sure, for sure. Cyber, I don't know, man. I don't even want to promote nobody like that that's fucking with Dope House. If you fucking with Dope House, I can't take you serious, man. I don't mean no disrespect towards nobody, because hey, everybody got to get their money some type of way, whatever. But me personally, how can I be the guy that's took the stand against that for so long? Think about it. How can I be the man that took that stand and went against that for so long, and then try to work a collab with somebody that that did that? Yeah, man, Sin. Yeah, so Sin had diabetes, and Sin had one leg amputated. He was in a wheelchair, and then right after that, Sin passed away. Oh, Ted Graham. That's a good question. You know what? We were talking about that the other day. So in prison, they give you the nickname. They make up your name. Like, you don't get to pick up your nickname. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part, right? And of course, they called me Snow because I was the only white guy. That's a good question. I never thought about that. Yes, Fat Texas for sure. Why do they put halfway houses in the worst neighborhoods with drugs and prostitutes and next door? It was one right in my neighborhood, and it was pretty fucked up neighborhood too. And I guess because who would want a halfway house in their nice neighborhood? And yeah, I remember Ike, man. I, I think he's still rapping. Shit, he's still out somewhere. What about Trump and Epstein files? That's why I don't understand how people talk about support Trump. Shit, I did a video. What you talking about? I did a video about that yesterday saying I don't support none of that shit. Yeah, I did a whole live about that. No, you know what? I haven't seen Snow Rock channel, but shout out to my brother Wag Deuce, because my brother Wag Deuce is really close homeboys with Snow Rock. So I need to get Snow Rock on here. Actually, that'd be a good look, and Wag can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Snow Rock is one of them legends too. Wag Deuce, Snow Rock, Goldie from Long Beach, Old Man from Fort Trey, a whole bunch of them cats were all mainline, level 4 white Crips that made it through the system. I don't like promoting anything gang related anymore. Y'all know that. That's definitely not what I do, but Snow Rock would be a good one just because all the shit that he went through and how many times they tried to kill him and all that other shit back then. So that would be dope. Hey, Daniel, I did a live about it last night. Go watch the live. I talked about it. That's what I'm saying. The crazy part I said about that and kind of pissed people off. I even got a couple comments saying if Trump is on that list, then Biden must be on that list too, or they would have dropped it out and destroyed Trump. As bad as they did not want Donald Trump to win that election, they spent $1 billion, a real $1 billion to his 500 million. They would have put that list out. You know what? They would have really put that list out if they weren't on it. So tell me why that didn't get out. Do I believe he's on it? Yeah, hell yeah, probably so. Do I believe one of the Bidens, probably Hunter Biden, was on there too? Yep. Fuck yeah. One of them princes from England was on there. A lot of people were on there. influential. Can you imagine how much people are like, oh, people are probably getting blackmailed and bribed and everything else for that list not to come out right now? Can you imagine how bad that list would literally crumple and end so many people's careers, whether they be entertainment industry, politicians, or everything? But then again, at the same time, a lot of people don't care about that shit. We see it with the SPM. We see it with R. Kelly. We see it with Diddy. We see it with Elvis. We see it with all these people that have been child predators, and their fans don't care. They literally do not care. So I think if Trump, if it came out right now that Donald Trump went to that island every weekend and did something with little kids, his supporters would rationalize it and make it okay. That's just how life goes, right? Same way, some of these YouTubers can be extremely foul. They can get caught lying. They can get caught telling fake stories about their whole entire life, and people still rationalize it. You know what I'm saying? Ted Graham said, "How is my life now that I'm out?" Shit, my life is good. My life is great. I got a little 6-year-old daughter that one baby Miss Texas. And who has the list? So the FBI has the list. And the director of the FBI the other day actually said that the evidence in the investigation lasted so many years that it's going to take them years to process it. That's the part I don't believe. Do I remember the song Grand Deception from K Reno? Hell yeah, I remember. That's a classic song. For real. Daniel, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I'm not sure. Shout out to K Reno. Point Blank is one of my real homeboys though. K Reno and Point Blank best friends, and Point Blank is one of my good friends, man. Point Blank been by my house a million times. I got pictures of Point Blank holding my daughter. Shout out to PSK 13 too. So back in the day, we had the Reckless Clan. It was Ice Lord, PSK 13, and Point Blank. And then you had K Reno and Gangsta Nip and a couple other cats. They were all the South Park Coalition. And then you had the Screwed Up Clique. Then you had the Killer Clan. They was KB, Flea, and Street Military, and Bam, and all them cats. And everybody was all linked. And yeah, I met DJ Screw a whole bunch of times. A lot of times. We used to all go to the same clubs. And my cousin had a real nice Blazer back in the day. They used to go to Screw House all the time. Screw liked to ride in my cousin's Blazer and hit the switches because he had hydraulics. Trump said he would thank a pardon Diddy if he's found guilty. So I mean, would you be surprised? He pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. Shit, man, Lil Wayne stayed out of trouble, but you see videos with Kodak Black still walking around smoking sherm, doing weird stuff, crazy stuff. Like, how in the hell did Kodak Black get a pardon and come back out wild out, catch more cases? How that's a good question. How did you heal and moved on from your BM? So that was just mandatory at the time, right? Mandatory. She went to she went to jail. Sometimes you just gotta accept what shit in life, and it makes it a lot easier to heal and move on. And when you have a child that you gotta focus on, that means somebody else's life, somebody else's feelings, emotions, and everything are more important than mine, right? So all I had to do was keep my mind on my daughter. Uh, when I first became a single father, me and her weren't even that connected, right? We were not connected well because I was working so much. Every night she slept in the bed with her mama or whatever. And so I had to take 16 months off from work when I first became a single daddy just to connect with my daughter. And that's why, again, I took this summer off. I'm taking at least 3 months off right now to bond with my daughter again, reconnect. She does have some like separation anxiety orders, things like that. So it feels good for her daddy to be home every day and not dropping her off at a daycare with strangers and stuff like that. Let me see. Not to go back off of subject. You can talk about anything you want tonight. This is random as hell. Not to go back off of subject, but when you were talking about the halfway houses, they sent me the one in Edinburgh. Now I was in there with 160 sexual offenders. Not only that, I was down by the border of Mexico. One woman disappeared, never made it to her destination. Still, damn. So that's crazy. So the thing about the state, shout out to Vegas, man, salute. The thing about the state is you can go to a halfway house anywhere, right? The feds, you can request, like, so if I wanted to get out and go to Chicago, I could have requested to go to Chicago. Get approved or not, I don't know. But mandated, I'm going to go to that one in Houston, right? So that would have been crazy. So I felt crazy at the one in Houston. I was still, so it's right across the street. No, what's up, my brother? It's right across the street from Minute Maid Stadium. Like literally, you step outside and here's the Astros parking lot, you know. And that, from my house to that part of downtown, is with no traffic 30 minutes. With traffic 45 minutes. Could be an hour. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well been in Edinburgh. That's what it felt like. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, my brother. I really do. I'm trying, dog. And the one thing I ain't never did from nothing is run away, man. I don't believe in. I believe in running to the problem, not running away from it. Because if you run away, it's just gonna get bigger. That fire gonna grow, dog. You got to go put that fire out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so putting me in that halfway house though, I might as well been in Edinburgh because I didn't have people that was just willing to just pop up on me every day. I seen some of them Houston cats, especially the ones that were from Fifth Ward, that was from Second Ward, Clayton Homes, right around the corner. They would have somebody there every single day picking them up. They would use their 4-hour passes to go do whatever they wanted, have fun, you know, do their thing. They was living that life there. Me personally, I would get somebody to come up about once a week. You know what I'm saying? About once a week. And the rest of the time, you could lie and say you're going job searching, but then guess what? Now you're just out there like a homeless person. You're literally riding the metro, walking around if you ain't got people picking you up, and that shit wasn't that fun. So literally, before I started going to welding school, I just spent time laying around and I wasn't even trying to hear it. I was locked up from 2002 to 16, started TDC, then feds picked me up. I was in the war with the PRM and Azteca from 2003 to 2008. Which one were you? You say you was you Azteca or were you PRM? And so in the feds, we had a couple PRM cats. We had two of them that was on my dorm, on my wing unit, whatever they call it, housing area. Depends on who you ask, right? They would even call themselves rooms sometimes in the feds. It would trip me out, but yeah, we had two PRM cats. One of them, so the whole prison only had two butchers. One of the butchers was PRM. He was from Corpus. I don't know where the other one. I think he was from South Texas. But they was cool as hell. They had a tiny little car too, real small car. And man, everybody respected the shit out of them. They were some real convicts. Nobody had any doubt in our mind that if you did something to one, the other one was coming to do something to you. You know what I mean? That was facts. So you might have been a USP pilot then when you were over there. Uh, my homeboy from Galveston was running the Crip car over there. Believe it or not, a cat named Romel. I don't know if you heard of Romel from Galveston, but he was the one running the Crip car from Galveston. Nationwide Crip car too. Ro was like that everywhere though. He was a influential type of person, good speaker. Ro would always be willing to go fight first. He willing to fade everything first, lead by example type of cat. And he was over there. So he did time with me in the state first. He had a 20-year state sentence on a robbery and a 10-year fed sentence. He did about 2 or 3 years in the state, and then the feds came and picked him up, and then he had to go back to the state after he did his fed time. I think he went to, and I think he was on McConnell. He was one of them in Tennessee. No, he was in Tennessee Colony. Never mind. So I think he was on Michael unit is where he was at. Now that I think about it. See, look, now that COVID, I actually did a video about that, Sandra. When COVID happened, there was so many people that was dying from the COVID-19 in there. that they weren't hardly talking about. You know what? I did a video one time. I remember specifically talking about how many prison guards got got COVID and passed away in there. Obviously, the guards were the ones bringing it in from dealing with the general public, but we weren't getting very many numbers or statistics from inmates that were passing away from COVID, but we were getting it from the officers. And man, they were doing it like they were passing right and left. He said no cowboy hats. You know what? Nah, but rest in peace to Mr. Larry. Mr. Larry used to always wear that cowboy's hat all the time, and I'm the one that gave him that cowboy hat. And Mr. Larry, 42. Type in 42 straight years in, the number 42 straight years in, and you'll see Mr. Larry's channel. He passed away, but you'll see in a lot of his videos, he had like a stuffed Dallas Cowboys football sitting behind him on the couch. He got that from me. That Dallas Cowboys hat, he got that from me. And every video, he would hold up this gigantic knife that I gave him too. You know what I'm saying? So me, myself, though, nah, I need to get me one. I ain't gonna lie. Where you were, could different races get along with other races? I know. So, yeah, everybody got along. You know, nobody was openly disrespectful. Like prisons, so especially maximum security prisons are some of the most respectful places that you'll ever see in your life. I know that sounds crazy, right? But people, there'll be nobody that ever bumps into you in a maximum security facility without saying, excuse me. They say, please. They say, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So do races get along? Absolutely. Do they mingle, hang out, and play games together? Like are Mexicans and blacks playing cards and shit? Probably not. Real rare. You know what I'm saying? Are they respectful to each other and do they live along right along with each other? Yeah, hell yeah. We had 3 benches. The blood sat right behind us. The other benches were some Mexicans. We had some Asians on the side of us. Some more Mexicans back there. Christina Lynn, salute. We had, were we all buddy buddy? No. Did we all know each other well? Hell yeah. After years, yes, you start to know who's real, who ain't, who will do this, who will do that. You start figuring people out, and you don't ever figure them out by what they say. You figure them out by how they carry themselves. Same thing as I was saying on this YouTube. You know, where is worse, Telford or McConnell? You know what? So I say this all the time. The same type of men that are in Telford are in McConnell. Think about that. The same exact type of men in Telford are the same type of men in McConnell. The same type of men that's on Beto. The same type of men that's in Bill Clemens. The same type of men that are in All Red Unit. The same type of men that are Darrington Memorial now, whatever they call it, right? Like any one of the Styles unit, any one of those places can be the most dangerous prison in the world on that day. Or they can all be cool that day. Just depends on what's going on. But the same type of men are all in all of them. You know what I'm saying? Simon the Ghost, salute neighbor. Yeah, Mr. Larry was a real one, man. So when Mr. Larry, listen, when Mr. Larry first got off that intensive supervision parole where he could actually travel, the first place he ever came to was here. And I sent Mr. Larry a bus ticket. And I picked him up at that bus station downtown when he used to be on Main Street right there next to the McDonald's. Man, we wasn't out there about 3 minutes and Mr. Larry slapped the shit out of a homeless dude for asking him for $1. And I'm like, hey, Larry, man, you can't be doing that, dog. Like, if you slap people for asking you for $1, your ass gonna be slapping people all day downtown. Like, just chill. And when Mr. Larry hopped off the bus, he already had a big ass knife on him about his foot long. And I was like, oh, this is the dude right here. You know what I'm saying? And I remember eating. And I was like, you want something? Because I was at the McDonald's. He said, shit, no, I don't eat this nasty shit. And I'm like, all right, then, my bad. We go get us something or whatever. You know what I mean? They shut the bus station down, too, right there. I guess they closed the whole block. I don't know what they're getting ready to do with that. But anyway, so I pick him up. He slaps the dough fiend. I finish my little 2 hamburgers. I get 2 little cheap-ass hamburgers, and we go down to Texas City. And we shot them videos right there at my house, in my bedroom. And then we shot the other videos right there at that Motel 6 on 21st in Texas. So in all reality though, when Larry came, I made sure I told him I don't got a lot of money to pay you now. It ain't gonna what's gonna happen, but we're gonna go out to eat everywhere, do everything in Galveston that you can think about, and we did. Like I took Mr. Larry out to the Hoolie Hoolie Hut for some crawfish. Well, we went to Kelly's for the big chicken fried steak, the big jumbo chicken fried steak. I took him to the pit stop barbecue. I took Larry to man somewhere for some seafood. I can't even remember. I took him on a tour, right? Because when he first got out, he was on that intensive supervision parole, and he had a job for a second. He lost that job, and so Larry didn't like talking about it a lot. But he started YouTube for a reason, because he needed help. That was the only thing he could think of. Then when he was having so much trouble, he was so stalled out. Mr. Larry actually reached out to me in the comments when I first started too, and was like, "Son, I did this so much time and all this," and I'm like, "Well, what are you telling me for? Like, you want to come do something with me or what?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do. I want to try to get my channel started. Will you help me?" I said, "Absolutely. Why not?" So when Larry came down, he actually told me some shit about kin folks that I knew in the like family members, crazy shit, people from Galveston. Like, he told me so many stories about people that I knew that were true. I was like, this is wild right now. So it was crazy. But you know what's wild? I was so new to YouTube back then. I didn't even realize that we could have did a Zoom call like everybody else does. We could have did StreamYard. I didn't know you could do any of that shit at that time. I was still using a cheap ass Android and recording. So when Larry comes down, I never even had to do all that. But I'm glad I did, because let me tell you something. We became real friends. Larry got to really hold my baby when she was little. Like, my daughter was the first child that Mr. Larry ever got to watch grow up a little bit, like love, and he would send her Christmas presents and shit like that. You know what I mean? So for the fact that he actually came here, broke bread with me, stayed for a few days, and I think that's why he loved me so much, because he knew I was the one trying to get him in position, and I was the one that, showed him so much love. Mr. Larry would have killed somebody for me, and I felt the same way for him. Towards the end, we did get into a couple arguments, but that's what hard-headed dudes do, that both believe they're right. But we still had a ton of love for each other, man, at all times. You can go back through his videos and watch how many times he shouts out me and my daughter. It's unbelievable. Let's see. FCI Elkin Prison in Columbiana County, Ohio, posted dead and dying inmates in lockdown cells with non-sick inmates begging for help. Damn, what was that, during the COVID thing? That's horrible. Hey, Eva, how you doing, Eva? Hope you're doing okay, ma'am. Haven't seen your name in the chat for a while. You've been missing them. Hope everything's all right out there in El Paso. Hell yeah, Jesse, me too. Me too. Do I F with Baby Bash? No, I call him Baby Trash. Baby Trash is garbage. Garbage. Dumpster juice. Dumpster juice. Miss T, how you doing, Miss T? Salute to Canada. Somebody was just asking me earlier, have I ever seen anybody in Texas prisons from Canada? I said no, never. Lawrence Green. So I don't know. There's so many people coming home. You got 150,000 inmates competing for beds, and the real true facts is some people have bad cases that the halfway house don't accept. A lot of people that have trouble getting in the halfway houses have sex cases, and they don't want you there. It's something that a sex offender that's convicted has to realize. This ain't the life you want. If you're attracted to kids, you might want to squash that down, because they're gonna send your stupid ass to prison. And you might can't even find a halfway house when you get out. TSF T Rue. Who was that? What you got TSF in your name for? R2 R RR210 says, why does SPM act like he's a G? Because that's what rappers are supposed to do. Rappers are actors. There are some rappers that are really about that business now. I did a video earlier. Make sure y'all go look at not the live, But look at the video I did earlier about the rapper from Atlanta. I uploaded about 5 p.m. today. It really wasn't even doing that good. But let me tell you something. Some of them rappers really about their business. But for the most part, most they're not. You know what I'm saying? Cyber gangsters say that Sauce Walker BS. Man, well, the reason I'm asking is because my daughter's little cousin is part of TSF. Right? My daughter's cousin is part of TSF, so I was just asking who he is. He should already know who I am. He a wood hustler, so yeah, I mean, he was from that way. Hillwood is on the backside of Sunnyside, right there by Cloverland and all that. All gangsters dance. JoJo, what's up, JoJo? Whose chat was that I seen you in the other day we were speaking in, man? Was that Rascal's chat? Rascal texted me yesterday and asked why I unsubscribed to him. I said, I didn't know I did unsubscribe to you. I don't know what happened. I watched his last 3 videos. I don't know if YouTube did it for me. YouTube is weird about that. Or if I accidentally hit the unsubscribe button. I don't know. I mean, look, El Bronco, that's where you're being weird. Is he speaking up for clout or is he clearing a guilty conscience? And what's wrong with clearing a guilty conscience? See, that's how I know you're an SPM fan, because yeah, Juan Gotti hid the truth for 20 years and he helped further the conspiracy that SPM was innocent. But why don't he have the right to come out now and just finally clear the truth and clear the air without everybody hating him? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Y'all hate Juan Gotti because he told the truth about SPM. Think about that. Think about that. Real men all over Texas ought to be going, damn, man, appreciate you, Juan Gotti, for telling us the truth. Now we don't go around screaming, free that weirdo no more. But instead, y'all hate Juan Gotti for it, right? That's the exact same thing that's happening to Elon Musk right now. Yes, I think they must have unsubscribed me, because ain't no way. That dude is one of my only YouTube friends, so there's no way in hell that I would unsubscribe to him on purpose unless I just tripped out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so listen, me and Juan Gotti, we're not cool. Juan Gotti, we're not friends. You know what I'm saying? He made a song speaking lies on SPM, Letter to SPM, then he talking bullshit, stay quiet. So the lies on Letter to SPM was that 9-year-old girl said that she was her favorite, that he was her favorite rapper, and her mama made her say all that. None of that shit was true. But if you had any intelligence back then, you would have understood none of that song was true. He asked him in the song, hey, homie, how's the handball court? I know some people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. The man had been in protective custody for 20 years. Juan Gotti knew he never played any handball. And if anybody was a convict, realized he was locked up, they know he ain't never played a game of handball since he been there. The whole song was fake. And that's where, Eva, thank you for that, Eva. I love you, woman. Appreciate it. That's the thing about it, right? He put himself in a predicament. And let me tell you what's the truth. And Juan might don't like me saying this, but the 9-year-old girl that got attacked and assaulted that he's doing the 45 years for, the rumors always said that was one of SPM's best friends and that he was sleeping with her wife and all that. That was actually one of Juan Gotti's best friends. Think about it. That was one of Juan Gotti's best friends. Juan Gotti chose rap and fame over the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So he gets all karma that he's got coming from him. 20 years of protecting a child molester is not okay. But coming out later and admitting that that's what you were doing, now people hate him. They loved Juan Gotti when he was protecting the pedophile, but now y'all hate him because he told the truth about him. Like, it's confusing to me. It's confusing to me. El Bronco, if Juan Gotti is as guilty as SPM, so is all the fans that know the truth now that still support him. Because the truth has been exposed. The young girl was not a stripper. Yet a 9-year-old girl never said he was her favorite rapper and her mom told her to lie. He really got caught with another 14-year-old on bond. Now Juan Gotti is saying he caught some kind of sexual assault case in a rehab. I got a video on my TikTok that shows y'all how many cases SPM actually had at one time. Should I pull that thing up? Let me see if I can even pull that up. I might be able to pull that up and show y'all. When y'all see how many cases that man had pending against him at the same time, it was unbelievable. There it goes. Let me see. Let me see if I can get this. Pull this up. So when you see this and you type in his name, let me show you something. Hold on. How do I pause this shit? All right. Let me share a screen and show y'all something. Let me show y'all something that y'all don't know about, right? And why Juan Gotti was dead wrong and everybody else dead wrong for rocking with this fool when they knew the truth. They knew the truth. No, so that ain't gonna look right. Look at this. Can y'all see that? Are y'all seeing this right now? Can y'all see this good or not? I don't know if y'all can see that good. Look at all of them are different cases against him. There was a bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of them. Let's see why this still rocks on. Look, I think it's repeating it. And I turned the audio off because I didn't want that. You know, cyber gangster, honestly, man, listen, that's what y'all don't understand is, you know how many mutual real life friends, you can go type that in on Harris County website. Shit, go type his name in, Carlos Coy, Harris County website. It's literally there. Or go look on my TikTok. Type in TikTok. In the last interview I seen of Lucky Luciano, he said he still talks to SPM on the phone all the time. So somebody needs to get that clear with Lucky. Is he a Christian rapper or is he supporting Chomos? We need to know. Somebody needs to nail him down to that question. Because you can't be both. You know what I mean? You really can't. You really can't. And I tell you what, I appreciate everybody tapping in tonight, man. I was going to maybe go out, do something. I don't have my daughter tonight, but I really wanted to stay home at the same time. I want to do a little bit of content, touch base with everybody. This might even be one of the videos I set back with take it off the channel, might leave it on the channel. Shit, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in today. Listen, do me a favor. If you're watching live right now and you're on YouTube, double tap that screen for me real quick. Double tap that screen. Try to tap my nose. Try to knock me out. Double tap that screen. And if you're watching on Facebook, hit the thumbs up and hit that share button for me, because that's the #1 way that you're going to promote the platform, the truth, and how we show these young men that this is not the life you want, right? You know, so let me tell you something, John. I'm not going to say what that song was called, because guess what? That would be me promoting them. Everybody on Facebook. So that video that I did, last time I looked, it said somewhere like 5,000 or 6,000 views on YouTube, but it's at something like 75,000 views on Facebook, right? And to me, I don't care what platform I get the most views on. You know what I'm saying? But as long as the message gets out, you feel what I'm saying? So the message is reaching out there. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the thumbs up for me, share the video out, and let's keep it real. Let's keep trying to save some of these kids. And we'll catch y'all later. Much love from Tim Snow, Texas Prison Stories.
studio. It's your boy Tim Snow. Got another one here for you, man. I just want to say what's up to everybody here.
Yes, boy, you a fella. I say you got me, man. That's what I'm down to say.
It's your boy Tim Snow. Takes for the story from the studio. It's your boy Tim Snow. Takes for the story from the studio. It's your boy Tim Snow.